You've got Grimsby Town in your life. Love it.
Oh my God!
Welcome to this evening's Three Fish on the Shirt. A bit more sombre this week, Steve, after last week. I'm Dave Dixon, your host, and my co-host, Mr. Steve Risley. Good evening,
Hello,
Steve.
David. Hello, David. Good evening.
Have you cheered up after Saturday's debacle?
I'm always cheerful.
Almost cheerful. I think we're quite lucky to have the fans forum on an evening in the middle of a good run before Saturday's match. So as you're aware, I had to dash off after 30 seconds of play, unfortunately, for
Yes.
a family emergency. Which all is well for those who messaged me on Saturday. Much appreciated. Everything's fine, thank you.
Good.
But yeah, obviously missed the game. Got updates from you on the route to Manchester. But
Yeah.
what happened? It was all right when I left it.
Well, we did all right first half. We played well first half. I thought we was tactically doing it right. We were keeping the ball. We were passing it around nicely. Didn't really create a lot, but I thought we were the better team first half. And then second half, it was just a capitulation, but it was getting there, if you know what I mean. Because every time they went forward, it looked like they were going to score, and we got nowhere near the goal. But they're a good team. They're the best team I've seen, if I'm honest, this season.
Yeah, and
so
David Artell at the forum the night before was saying exactly the same. He was playing them up as a really good side, and so it proved.
They were better than Doncaster, and so we didn't play that bad first half, but we just I think they knew exactly what they were doing. They let us have the ball, let us pass it round. We had more possession than them, and then second half they upped it a bit, came at us, and then we tried to play out a few times, but on the break, but we couldn't do it.
Yeah,
so
the press is good. Panic.
Yeah, they definitely let us have the ball first half. They weren't pressing us that much, so we had the possession. But
I remember texting you at half time when you saw it's 0-0. I said, "Be careful though; they've got the lowest possession stats in the division, and yet they're still fourth." And kind of so it proved we had something like 60% possession to their 30 and we get beat 4-1. One of the worrying things about when we get down, we always seem to concede really late goals, don't we? When we've already when the game is lost.
Yeah, I think we've got. To be honest, though, we pulled the goal back 3-1, and then there was a really good chance to make it 3-2.
Grandstand finish. Yeah.
It was about 88th minute. I think I can't remember. Hume crossed it. I think Danny Rose was on it. Was right. I thought it was going to go in. If that's gone in,
3-2.
3-2, and you've got 6-7 minutes.
Yeah.
So the crowd got up then at that point, and then they scored the fourth, and that was it really. So.
Yeah. One particular error that was pointed out was the cracking goal from Jealous, I think it was.
Jealous, yeah.
Which was a hell of a finish, but created by Cass. I'm surprised he wasn't listed on the assist sheet as
it should have been
on the assist. It was a hell of a pass, but the lad certainly took his chance, didn't he?
He didn't. He chested it and then just half volleyed it, and our goalie didn't have a chance really. And there was Jacko. That was what's the score from the Walsall fans?
Yeah,
because all four goals in front of him.
Yeah,
in front of the fans, like.
And I think the other thing to note was the first goal was particularly the Jamil Matt goal. Denver Hume got skinned, and then we conceded the goal we've conceded how many times this season? Crossing from the right.
Yep.
Simple header in the box goal.
It could see it coming. Saying just towards the end of the first half, he got done. and Matt's bundled it in, and but it was disallowed for push.
Early warning.
Yeah, it was, and then the second half it was identical, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it was a decent, it was a good goal.
Something says we've got to cut them crosses out somehow, haven't we? One way or another.
Yeah, Hume. If Hume could defend, he won't be playing in League Two. I saw
a similar comment over the weekend.
He's right.
My challenge to people who got in the negative box this week is, with 18 fit players, pretty much they're all involved on Saturday.
Yeah.
From intel, I picked up that there was at least 2 players that played on no training last week just because of the injuries.
Really?
Yeah. So you don't get a full picture of necessarily what's happening, and these are the lads that want to be here, and I'm sure they don't mean to lose 4-1. I think overall you look at where we were last year and where we are this year, and even though we've lost 6 matches, 6 wins and 6 losses is better than 2 wins, 5 draws, and 4 defeats in terms of points, and we are in the table. And I've made this comparison a few times because at this time last year when we played Tranmere away, we were in that drawn 5, lost 4, only won 2 position, and they were in the 606 position. Excuse me. And when you're higher up the table, you can forgive it almost.
You can, yeah. So it's drawing, winning 1 and drawing 4, saying you're unbeaten.
Yeah.
But then you've only got 7 points.
Exactly.
So you may as well win a couple of games and lose a couple. So
and I think part of, as long as we can keep it together and we can keep the progress, I think we'll be okay as long as we can keep winning and hopefully get a few more on the win column than the loss column. Nobody wins all the games, do they?
No, we've played two good teams, Doncaster and Walsall, and they're ahead of us.
Well, we've had a hell of a start, haven't we, in terms of who we've played?
Yeah. I was looking when David Artell took over, and I thought it was a year now, but it's not. It's November, end of November.
It's second round of the cup because he played MK Dons, where he'd been with them for 20 minutes, and we drew 1-1, and then it was the second round of the cup at Oxford.
So it's like 27th of November or something. So he's not even been here a year yet, and we've definitely progressed in that year.
No, and I think I said somebody the other day. Somebody mentioned, we'd have never kept getting battered like that under Hursty, and I said I'll give it a rest. I've seen more entertaining football under Artell in League Two than any of Hurst's League Two teams.
Yes, definitely agree with that.
We got beat a few times. We got beat with Hurst, and we usually got beat because we were trying to at least get a 0-0 draw and hopefully sneak a win. And if we were lucky.
But I have been thinking, actually, in a weird positive way. Last season we lost to Doncaster 5-1, and we only lost 3-0 this year.
That's improvement. I was thinking exactly the same.
We lost to Walsall 6-1.
And then lost 4-1 this time.
So we're getting 2 goals. So next year 2-1 and 2-1.
Yeah, or if we progress a bit faster, we might even get draws. You never know. Or they might have gone out and we'll have picked up some other crap teams that we can beat.
If the curve's like that, improvement, then But I just thought I'd get that one in. So.
No, it had crossed my mind, that one in particular, because of those two. Those 2 games are quite raw, aren't they? Even in town fans at this time of year. Yeah,
I mean, there was no booing. There wasn't any booing at the end either. I think they realised we played a good team. Yeah. Very, very good team, good players, and very high. I'm very surprised if they don't get promoted this season. Yeah,
I'd say I linked to the Tranmere thing because the similar sort of clubs, aren't they? The similar sort of size. We get probably more crowds at the minute. They've got a bit more competition where they are, I suppose. But anybody can beat anybody on the day. They're about the same place in the table as us normally, and we happen to be playing them on Tuesday. And we've got, following our review of this week, Steve, we've got Rachel from the Wirral coming on to talk to us about how Tranmere are getting on. So we'll play that after we've finished. But on leaving the Walsall game aside, which I think we'd probably sooner forget now, but I think Artell will take whatever learnings out of it that he can, and I was quite impressed with how he spoke the other night when I was at the fans forum.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, the only thing on the Walsall game, the team selection. I was looking at the team selection. And he dropped Tam, didn't he?
Yeah.
Dropped Tam and brought in Rodgers again. And there was a few people saying, "Why? Why did he change it?" Because
I've got a theory on that, and I posted to a couple of people online who said the same. And I think somebody's been off for 2 or 3 months at the start of a season, so he's not had a proper pre-season. He's been out for 2 or 3 months. His first game back last week was Salford, and he's played 90 minutes, of which the second half was a constant onslaught. I'd be very surprised that if they weren't making sure that he was protected from knackering himself by playing too many games too quickly.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's the only way I can think, because in any other universe, you're playing him. And I agree with that.
I agree with that, yeah. I think he's already said he is nursing players through, isn't he?
Yeah.
And if and he's not...
If you listen to him on Friday night, he said, I've got 18 fit players playing tomorrow. That's it.
Yeah.
So you don't want one more, and you certainly don't want it to be Doug Tam if you're bringing him back. So that's my only philosophy on the subject that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I put on.
Sorry, go on.
That's what I put on my notes is surprised question mark.
And I think most of the people that brought that up that I replied to said, "Yeah, see where you're coming from." There wasn't any sort of angst about it. It wasn't an argument as such. But it was my theory, and I think it's the only way you can make sense of it, personally.
Agreed.
So, 0-0 at half time, game of 2 halves. We think we fell into their trap of we letting them have the ball, and we didn't finish our own chances by the sounds of it in the first half. No, we didn't create a lot, but I'm just looking how many they had 4 shots on target. Yeah, and I think they've had 10 shots on target against us in the last, and they scored every one of them. Everyone's gone in. Yeah, we had 5. 2 games. Yeah, but 4 shots. How many times has that happened this season? Lots. And last season. Yeah. So I think it's an area we could do with somebody with a bit more finishing prowess, couldn't we? Yes, I think we are lacking up front. Yeah. I mean, Jamil Matt, he was here for a few games, wasn't he? Yeah. A few months, I think, and he scored a vital goal for us, keeping us up. But he looked good, actually. He looked a bit better. But we don't seem to have a big beast like that, do we? I mean, Gardner's up and coming, but he's not that yet, is he? He's not there yet. He might be. He might well be one day. We do. I think we do need something up front, though. Yeah. A bit more. Yeah. Wilson took his goal well. I mean, he had to. He pushed the goalie over, but I don't think he didn't really. The goalie went over a bit too easy. Well, you have to question why he's not playing from the start. He can't be showing much in training. I don't know if he's not showing much, whether he's carrying injuries, because he's sort of glass-like, isn't he? And he's been in and out with injuries. Pike's never fit. Yeah, no, I don't think Wilson's. I like him, but I don't think he's the answer. I think we need somebody a bit bigger. Yeah, I agree. I think if Wilson started every week and got the goal return that he got last year, he'd be a fan's favourite. But he's never in, and I just wonder if we wrap him up, or either that or he's not showing it in training. I don't know. I don't know that one, do we really? No. So is that about it for Walsall? Least said, best mended. Yeah, moving on. So moving on. Big one last week was the fans forum on Friday night, which I managed to get to. It was good. I think the owners speak well. Polly Bancroft particularly came across really well. There's quite a few questions came in on. I will cover the topics off individually, but it came across about the business side of things, the ownership. Jake Eastwood's injury and what was happening as a result of that from a legal perspective. Style of play, now that comes about from back to front. Preparation for the transfer window, things like that. And I also asked a question about Evan Corey, which we'll be able to listen to shortly. But first things first, ownership. we've covered it in previous episodes with Kieran Maguire. They explained the whole shares, equity for shares, converting loans and all that, which was exactly as we thought. It's stabilising the club, removing basically a debt, taking that debt away from the club, and putting it into shares so people don't owe it to anybody. And the new investor money's gone in the pot that was against money that's already been spent. So things like the training ground stuff and the like. Although they have managed to put a bit extra into the playing budget as well,
that's good.
Which is positive, but by no means we've got $1.5 million of investment. Therefore, we've got $1.5 million extra to spend, because their aim for the club is that it doesn't need constant injections of money. That it's self-generating, and that's going to need quite a bit of work on the commercial side as well. So there's also discussions with firms about naming rights for all sorts. So there's the upper, the lower, the stadium, the main stand. They're reluctant to name it again without considering where it might sponsor. Because if you call it the Sir Alan Buckley stand, for example, it's really hard to name it then, because everybody then knows it as the Alan Buckley or whatever.
I agree.
So they're quite cautious on that at the minute, and they've got to sort of make every penny count. He talked about the link up with 21st Century Group, the data company who came at the same time as Gareth Jennings. He's still a non-exec director, but they've it's been revealed since then that they've it was in the paper over the weekend that we're in cahoots with a company in America called the Jamestown Corporation, or
I see that,
and they're in a similar sort of space to 21st Group in terms of data and what have you. So I assume we're not sharing that. People moan about transparency and telling the fans what's happening, but if you're looking for a competitive edge, you don't want to tell everybody what you're doing, do you?
Not really, no. Because otherwise, it's they might think, "Well, that's a good idea."
Yeah, so I get that point. So that was interesting. I'll be able to see, but they were talking about the 21st Century Group cost something like £100,000, so it's multi-hundreds of thousands of pounds. So, so it's a lot of money. Right. And what they've done is basically they've trained themselves up to be able to do what they wanted to do on their own. So that makes sense from a business perspective. You do that in any business, wouldn't you? You train the trainer and then do it yourself.
Train the trainer, and then be a trainer.
Exactly.
As they say.
So Polly Bancroft came across really well in terms of her engagement with fans, commercial wise, and all the rest of it. And David Artell also was happy to talk about the club's style of play and how that links through. So from that perspective, he talked about Kieran Green being an excellent example of how it works. So they decide how they want to play, and then on the basis of the method of play, they have a system where every player has got a kind of a plan to improve their game on the basis of what the overall the team needs.
Okay.
If it means somebody to sit a bit deeper, or somebody to make runs in certain circumstances, and where to be and when to be there. And he said Kieran Green's an excellent example of that. We've more or less told him when to run, where to be, and when in the circumstances of the build up or whatever. So
he knows what his role is. Yeah,
and they've given him that plan. Another good example of it is Evan Corey, and I asked David Artell about Evan Corey, and this is what he said. He's doing a lot better than any of us even thought he probably could do. What you got to say about him?
So the thing for me, I thought Evan Corey's development was mishandled for a good 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, so David Artell spoke well about Evan Corey. I was quite surprised that he referred to him previously being mismanaged, though. Yeah,
that's a bit of a surprise statement, but if it's true, then
he basically said he needed to be out playing, and we didn't allow that to happen.
You wonder if he wanted to go out, Evan Curry, if he asked to go out and he didn't, wasn't allowed to go.
Well, apparently his agent had been pushing for it for ages, and when David Artell said, "Yeah, we're going to get him out," so and you've heard what he said. We've heard what he said previously on the rest of it.
Yeah, he's having a great season. I mean, he was given the captain's armband as well, wasn't he, at the end of the Salford game?
No, he's
Which
different again, and he's done a great job. I don't know how he played on Saturday, but I'm glitching.
Yeah, Curry is good. Had another solid game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, man of the match. Did you see who man of the match was?
No.
Wilson.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Yeah, I did.
Because I announced it as going out of the game, and just we all sort of laughed but thought, well, why not?
I wanted to give it to the goal scorer. Yeah.
Curry, he's played well, Tom. Generally, just weren't quite up to them their standards.
Defensively, we let ourselves down. And 4-1 looks bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the other encouraging thing is that we're prepared for the transfer window, apparently. So,
all right.
Somebody asked him if preparation started yet for the transfer window. He says, "Which one?" He says, "If you're talking about the next one," he says, "You're way behind. We started for that yonks ago."
All right.
So it's nice to know they've got a plan. So I got the feeling that there's there'll be some incoming and maybe some outgoing. He mentioned in Evan Corey's thing you've just heard that there's a plan for him going out on loan, not because he was rubbish or anything like that, but there's a plan for him going out on loan, and that's to help him get better, not because he's crap and we don't want him here.
Right.
So that might be some other players in January, but if that's the case, that's their journey. So I'm assuming that means that somebody's not happy with they're going to be out.
Okay, so
that's me reading between the lines, but you heard what he said. I'll leave people to make their own mind up on it.
So which transfer window is
January,
opening?
That's January.
January, right? Okay, yeah.
And then he said they are already planning for the next one as well. So fingers crossed. They're still keen to explore untapped markets and undervalued players. So yes, Van Thorsen types. Although I understand he had a fairly quiet game at the weekend.
Yeah, I was talking to my nephew about it, Brad, and we've agreed he's got to get in the game and bring him in the game a bit more. He's not an out-and-out winger, and he's playing out that's on the wing, but he needs to know when to come in. Yeah, and he's still getting used to our game, I think. But
yeah, and they were saying at the fans forum they thought of everything for him until he got here, and then they found out that they couldn't get him a car because he's under 25, and they struggled to get him some insurance. And he struggled with the grass, because the work plays on AstroTurf and it was bad for his groins. He couldn't believe how green the grass was, and he says, "So when you're dealing with all the things you thought it was all right," he says, "now we're faced with no car, green grass, all the rest of it." I know it was a bit tongue in cheek, but it does take some getting used to being a bit warm for him as well. So we need a good winter for him, don't we?
It's everything, isn't it? If you imagine a player from our country going to play in Iceland.
Yeah, I don't know how old is he? 22, 23?
22, I think. Yeah.
So he's only just a similar age to my daughter, and he's moved to a foreign country.
Moving to and got he speaks English, but he's got to settle in, find somewhere to live. He's got I've no friends over here, I guess. Apart from his Icelandic.
His Icelandic mates that keep coming every week.
Getting pissed.
Well, it's a good job they do because they're not seeing much in the way of town action, are they?
No.
Or are they just a jinx?
They were there this weekend, I think, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't see them this time. Maybe they're in the bar the whole game.
Or the club shop.
Not a club shop. Well, they'll probably get in the club shop and then they go, right, this way to the bar. Yeah. Give us your money.
Yeah. And
talking about transfers, just going back to Artel tried to sign one of their players, didn't he? Walsall players. This summer. Do you see that? What was his name? Charlie Lakin.
Oh, did he?
He played in their midfield.
Oh, was that him?
They tried to sign him this summer.
Oh, right. He mentioned them having two midfielders that get forward quickly. And that's what he was talking about. So wouldn't you just kill now for a Cockrell or a Cunnington?
Yeah, absolutely. What are you doing?
The camera's glitching. I'm not sure why.
A Cunnington, yes. Oh, a Cockrell.
It's gone.
You.
I'm gone now. I'm going to have to edit this now. Okay.
You've got UU now. UU. Oh, getting cold in here now.
Yeah, my camera's completely given up.
Looks like it has, isn't it?
On that bombshell. Well, that was about everything I got to talk about anyway. So should we end it there? I'll edit this bit out. So I'll just thank you, and I'll say we'll go over to talk to Rachel.
You're going to Tranmere.
Yeah, I'm heading for Tranmere. So we'll in preparation for Tranmere, we'll have a chat with Rachel to see how Tranmere are getting on and what the current life of a Tranmere fan's like. Although these were recorded before the games at the weekend, so any discussion about Tranmere and Town is prior to Walsall and them winning at Bromley. So they'll be probably going into the game a bit more positively than we will after our weekend. But yeah, at the moment, we're probably better off away from home than at home, looking at the way things are.
I think we're better off playing away at the minute,
Yeah.
Fancy us for tomorrow night.
Yeah. Well, thanks again, Steve, for your time. I will play out the interview with Rachel from the Wirral, and we'll see you in the next one next weekend.
Say hello to Rachel from me.
I will. And we've also got Steve Saunders Part 2. We've had a great response to Part 1 for the Steve Saunders interview. So if you've not caught that, catch Part 1, and then Part 2 will be out on Thursday or Friday, depending on availability. So we'll look forward to that.
It is good.
Thanks for your time, Steve. Up the Mariners.
All right, Dave. Up the Mariners.
Up the Mariners.
Cheers.
Right, so just wanted to welcome Rachel, who's a Tranmere fan, who is come on to help us preview Tuesday's game at Prenton Park. Welcome, Rachel.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. You're the first of our opposing team fans that we've had on the podcast, so we're breaking new ground. So thanks for joining us. And
no problem.
What's life like being a Tranmere fan at the minute? How's your season?
Not great, I'd say, at the moment. I think the start of the season, I thought, we're in for a good season. We were on an unbeaten streak. We'd not conceded many goals, but on the other hand, we hadn't scored many goals. And things are just going from bad to worse at the moment, I think. And it is that the not scoring of the goals, we're just lacking that quality in the final third.
One of the things I've observed last year when I know we went to the game together at Tranmere last year, at that time we were in a position where we were not winning many, but not losing many, drawing quite a few, not scoring many goals, and you were kind of winning or losing and not drawing, and we're much higher up the table. And it seems like roles have been completely reversed because we win or lose, we haven't drawn at all, and yet you've not lost many, but you've not scored many goals. So
no, well that's it, because I think you've scored. How many, Grimsby? You've scored. How many goals have you
15.
Scored? This 15. We scored 5.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference.
You've only lost 3 games, and again that shows you the value of or the value of drawn games, the value you get lost in drawn games, doesn't it?
That's it. I think we've conceded less goals than you have, but you're so much higher up the table than we are.
Yeah, we've let 18 goals into your 11. So,
our 11.
Contrasting fortunes have been totally roles reversed. So your season started not too bad. Notts County were highly fancied, and you got a 0-0 draw at home. Then same, your tough away game at Port Vale, and they're proving to be a good side. So you didn't concede in those games, but didn't score. Then you won at Walsall and Carlisle, and it was looking pretty good from there, wasn't it?
I was thinking, this is the season.
4 games in. And you got your only goal scorer up to that point was Amari Patrick. Is he someone that's come back to you then? Was he with you before and he's come back? Or?
No,
so
he's not been with Tranmere before. He was a kind of last minute signing before the start of the season, which I think he's proven to be a good signing from what I've seen so far of him playing.
So he's got 3 of your 5 goals in those 2 games as it happens. And then you had 2 reverses in 2 tough away games down south at Gillingham and Colchester, and then kind of that's when the wheels seem to come off.
Completely.
So what's the challenge then? What's the cause in your view of your lack of being able to score a goal?
Because when you look at the games where I've got lots of possession, which I think you can have all the possession in the world, but it all comes down to how many goals that you score.
Yeah.
And I think we're playing that good football, get it to the final third, and I just think it's like the heads fall off. They can't get the balls in the box. It ends up going back and back and back, and before you know it, it's back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Or we just haven't got, like when Tranmere played Bradford, and they've got Andy Cook up front, that main target man who's there. He'll get you the
You know all about
goals.
him.
Yes. I think that's what they're lacking, that main target man, that person who's there to get you the goals.
Yeah.
When the corners go in, the corners, we're not even beating the first man. But if that main target man's there, then you're going to get those goals. There's going to be somebody there, or at least get the shots on goal.
Yeah. And that, exactly that. It's the sort of thing that we were experiencing last year. Corners supposed to get you excited, aren't they? There's a sniff of the goal line, and you can get close to it, but you're not getting there. So, in that respect, seeing Andy Cook come back is probably a bit of a goaler for you, really. Seeing and that he scored as well.
2 goals, yeah.
So always the way.
I know.
Old players always come back to haunt, don't they? And it's no
I think that's the problem that we've had. We've had these strikers up front who've scored the goals and they've left, but they've never properly been replaced.
Yeah.
So there's always been those gaps up front.
Yeah.
It's we're just not replacing that part of the team.
And they're a real premium, aren't they? And I think you can get teams now that they'll let you play and have the ball, and then just hit you when they get the chance.
Yes.
I mean, we've done it to a couple
and I
of
think
teams.
that's what's happening at the moment. Tranmere, we can have all the possession in the world. We're putting it around the field and then give it away, and that's it. There you go, goal.
Yeah. Well,
And last season, to be honest, we did used to go down. We'd go behind a goal, and I didn't worry because we came from behind quite a few times last season. But I think this time, once they've gone down a goal, that's there's no going back now because they just don't look like scoring.
Yeah, and from being in that position previously, you find that you know that the best you can hope for in those circumstances is a 0-0 draw. If you're not going to score, that's the best you can hope for. So
Yeah.
it's a challenge. So who are the players to? I've mentioned Omari Patrick. Who are the other players for us to watch out for in your team at the minute who are performing reasonably well?
I get that you are. I think
it's easy to say who isn't.
probably easy. Yeah, I find it easier to say who isn't, to be honest, because it is from. I just think Amari Patrick for me has been the only player that's gave it 100% in all the games. He's the one getting those balls into the box, and it's just frustrating that he's working so hard, and then there's just no end product. And to be honest, as well, the goalkeeper as well. He's had a really good start to the season because there's been some times in the games where he's kept us in the game with his saves, stopped us conceding as many as we have in some of the games. Yeah.
You're looking at the record. I mean, you had 6 games out of the 10 you haven't scored in. But looking at the other side of the game, your 11 goals you've let in, 6 of them were in 2 games. Those two games away from home, you lost 3-0. That's 6 of those goals. So the rest of the games have been pretty close. So it's annoying then, isn't it, that you can
It is.
get in
There's
that
just
position.
there's just a consistency's not there yet either.
Yeah.
And I don't think we found the team yet. The team's not gelling. We're still swapping and changing. Players are coming in, players are coming out.
Yeah. What's the squad size and depth like at Tranmere? Is it have you got a good squad, or is it a bit limited and
I think we are limited, and I
Yeah.
think we were hit this season at the beginning with a few injuries. I know Kieran Morris is just come back into the squad, and I think we are missing Josh Hawkes as well, who was from Sunderland originally on loan, and he's now signed for Tranmere. I think when he comes back in, he'll add a little bit more of quality, hopefully as well. Even though he doesn't play up front, he can score goals. He scored in the week in one of the cup games. So I'm hoping once he gets fit, he can get some 90 minutes and start getting some goals in. But I think we've got, when I look at the bench, players we've got on the bench, they're not experienced players. We've got Sol Solomon, who's come from Marine, which was great. He was their top goal scorer, scoring the goals.
It's a step up.
But obviously, step up from non-league to League Two. It's a big step up. But I think we're not scoring the goals. We haven't got the quality. So why not just give him a chance? Give him a run out, even if it's for half an hour, 45 minutes. Let's see what he can do.
He'll give his
what
all
could
anyway.
possibly go wrong?
He'll give his all. Yeah. It's interesting. So you're away at Bromley tomorrow.
Yes.
So that's quite a challenging place to go. It's a bit like a leisure centre, apparently.
Okay.
We've not fared very well though, wherever we've gone, unfortunately. But so good luck with that. But yeah, 6 without a win and 3 points from 18 doesn't paint a great picture.
No.
So I'm just hoping, and we're hoping for the opposite things here. That you're hoping that Grimsby are going to come along and help you out, and we're hoping that we stick it to you further. So
Yeah.
it's a challenge. So what about Nigel Adkins? Do you think he's doing a good job, or is he struggling with a limited squad, or is he?
I think,
What's your view?
I think that's what it comes down to, the budget and, what we can afford to buy, because we haven't got the budget to be buying these high class players. We are getting players that other teams have let go, players that have
Yeah.
been out of contract. I don't want to say he's not doing a good job, but I just think so far this season he's not really proven to the fans
Getting
that
achievement.
he's got that he's going to take us to that promotion that we're all hoping for.
Yeah.
And I know it's only early days. I've seen seasons be turned round after Christmas, and that's going the other way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tranmere was second once in the league, and we were all, yes, automatic, it's coming. By March, we were mid-table.
Yeah.
So things can turn round. Not all doom and gloom and negative as of yet, but something really needs to change with the upfront,
Yeah.
that final third of the
Yeah.
game.
It's where the game's won and lost, isn't it? Effectively.
Yeah.
In that, like I said earlier, you
I
nil
just
nil.
think it's frustrating for the fans.
Yeah.
It's just not, and we always say that the crowd's like, 12th man,
Yeah.
the 12th man get behind the team, but I think the crowd capacity, it's just going down and down each
Yeah.
game, because it's just so frustrating for fans to watch.
Yeah. So how many are you getting at home at the minute? And what's the crowd expectation for a Tuesday night from me?
I think on a Saturday it's been around I'd say about 5.5, 6. So
Yeah.
it probably depends on the weather as well, and
Yeah.
especially now with the new Sky Sports Plus.
Yeah.
Tuesday night games are on Sky, so that might
People sit at
force a
home and
few
watch
people
it.
not to go sit at
Yeah.
home. Yeah.
Yeah. So you won't be doing that. You'll be there cheering your team
I'll
on.
be there.
And
Yes.
I'll be there not cheering the team on, but inwardly cheering the team, because I'm going to join you in with your family, hopefully. So
Yes.
all being well, we'll be cheering on the inside with a bit of luck. And like you turned us over one time at our place when we met up.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we
When we had that was
revenge.
when we had Rob Apter.
Yes, and
He's really missed.
you
It's a
definitely miss him.
shame that
He
we
ripped us to
couldn't
bits
keep
that
him.
day. He ripped us to bits.
Yeah,
that
and
day.
it's just frustrating now when I look. I do check Blackpool, and he's not actually getting full 90 minutes at Blackpool. He's coming on as sub.
Yeah.
So they're just using him as and when they need him, and it's just such a shame that we couldn't keep him just for that little bit longer, because we miss him.
Yeah.
Just for his creativity throughout the field, and obviously he scored the goals as well.
Yeah. Well, we're down to our bare bones. We play in Walsall tomorrow, which is a tough game because they're up at the top in 4th place, and we're down to about 18 fit players. So the squad and the bench is about everybody who's fit will be on there. So
that's the thing when you've
it's tight.
league games, then you've got the cups, everything like that. Yeah,
we've had some horrific injuries. We had our first choice keeper was out of favour. Then the other guy came in. Then the second keeper was injured, so we had a young lad on the bench. And then at Carlisle a couple of weeks ago, our keeper collided with the bottom of the post where it joins up with the rim that goes around the bottom. Now it's the nail to the pitch, and it's got a great big bracket on it. And he severed his knee tendon completely
oh,
on the goal frame.
wow. So that
So
bad luck with
he's out.
keepers.
He's out for 6 months. We've got a loan keeper an emergency loan from Barnsley at the minute, while our other keeper gets fit. So we're in a bit of a mess with injuries. Coincidentally, it's been our best spell for as long as I can remember.
Yes.
We've won 4 out of 5, so I don't know how long that can continue. So hopefully nothing's going to give, but it'd be an interesting game, I'm sure. And
because I think looking at the stats, they are quite evenly matched. Possession that they've had, accuracy. we've had a couple more clean sheets, but I just think, I think even when we've played each other in the past, we are
Yeah.
quite, very similar sides. But this time round, you're just able to score the goals.
Yeah. Well, having worked closely with a very close relative of yours over a period of time, we've monitored both our progress, and we're almost the same. The two clubs are very, very similar.
Yes, yeah,
and anybody can beat anybody in this league on the day. So
yeah,
it's going to be challenging for both sides. I think for us to keep going and for you to get a result while we're doing really well. So no,
yeah.
I'd wish you luck, but I'm not going to. And thank you for joining us on this week's edition. So
No, and thank you.
I shall see.
Looking
She'll see
forward
you
to
next.
Tuesday.
We'll see you next
Yep.
week.
See you next week.
All the best.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.